I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
You know, what job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Test. Hello. That was a little loud. Let's turn me down there. Good morning, everyone. We've got some curling action here from the Swift Current Curling Club. Curling Stadium Series, the next installment, S3 group. We've got the young Stephanie Thompson team who will have their hands full with a very skilled Yoshimura team from Japan. Yoshimura, a slam tier team. Some early season action here. Well, I mean, 8th of October, we're right into it now. Earlier in the season, but these teams are in their full swing of competitive circuit. Started with intentional drawn to the rings this end. Traded hits, traded some misses, and that'll be another slight miss there, knocking the Yoshimura stone into the rings. Team Stephanie Thompson had some ideas of a clean end there. Be a little more difficult now, as Yoshimura will draw the open side. Studio figured out here. My name is Rory McCusker. I work for Curling Stadium Live, and I just love watching curling on weekends, just like you. So I'll be operating these cameras and watching this game with you this morning. Glad to have you with me. Love waking up on a Saturday morning, nothing else to do today besides watch and produce curling games. It's a good feeling. Swift Current Curling Club really stepping up their tour events. It seems like they're becoming a premier club in the province. I mean, maybe they have been for years, but really a lot of good teams flowing through Swift Current these days. Easy to see why, right on the number 1 highway, close enough to Calgary, Regina, not too far of a drive from Saskatchewan. Bit of an ugly highway, that one going south there, but yeah, it seems like these international teams, Americans, Canadian teams from all over the country find themselves in Swift Current more than once per year. Club manager Chris Heichert doing a really good job at stepping the club's presence up. Sure if you guys could hear producer Jerry Gertz and on-site tech and curling stadium aficionado James Corden, Jet Ice. It's his other company. They were getting a little annoying in the background, so I closed them off there. James is producing a game on sheet 6, I believe. And hey, you audience, you know this by now. You can jump around and watch any game you want on the ice. How beautiful is that? You got live production and commentary for 2 games per draw. Soon to be 3, we'll see. But that Tier 3 stream, those fixed cameras, those will be available for you whenever you want. But I know I have a dedicated Japanese audience or fans of Team Yoshimura here with us today, and I'm happy to have you, and just that support from Japan has been incredible. Love to see what kind of online participation and media we have out of that country when it comes to curling. So, hey, check out the chat. If you don't believe me, check out the YouTube or Facebook chat right now, and you will see a bunch of really supportive Japanese curling fans. Really inspiring to see over the years that country really activate its support for the curlers. Team Yoshimura, all right with a open end here. I'll give them the hammer there. Gotta read the ice, read the paths, throw some hits on that intern side, and yeah, learn a little bit about this sheet and maybe score a deuce on the way. These first few ends, so important, just figuring out the ice, the paths, the weight, your own rocks that you have assigned to you. There's so much learning that happens in the first few ends of the curling game. Thompson coming out of the hack. Her last rock, his first end. Going for the double. Sweepers couldn't quite hold that line. Real close, but ends up only removing 1. This will be a draw to the 8-foot for 2 points. Team Yoshimura first end. Getting out to that out-turn side now. I'll admit I wasn't paying enough attention during practice, so I was getting my stream set up, but not sure if this is the path that they took during practice for their draw to the button. Their last stone draw, which they did win. If it is that path, they'll be getting back in that mindset they're in during practice. But if this is the new side, they'll have to play it a little more by ear, a little more attention by the sweepers, and maybe an adjustment by the thrower. First end, last rock. Sayaka Yoshimura. Great name. 4 sweepers on this one. Do get it there. Wow. Excellent rock. That'll be 2 points for Sayaka Yoshimura over Stephanie Thompson, who will have the hammer in the second end when we come back.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
We just got our shipment of logos here in for our next event, which is going to be the mixed doubles. As you can see, there's a few of them. There's roughly 20 logos per sheet to be put in for the mixed doubles, along with a couple extra little dots. But all our logos come from Jet Ice. They are the best logos to put in. We use them around the world, and they're very easy to install. As you can tell, this is the Center Ice logo that's going to be going in for the world. This is about a 4-footer by 10. It's going to look like $1 million. Their colors on their logos are always nice and vibrant. And like I said before, very easy to put in.
What a Jet Ice commercial. Fantastic job, James. Jet Ice. Making your install easy and effective. Very cool commercial. Love that GoPro angle. Big wide look. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. Second end here. Stephanie Thompson with the hammer. Should probably switch that around. There's a lot going on behind the scenes here. People keeps you involved. It's like driving a standard, you know? You can't take a phone call, you can't do anything. You have to just focus on shifting those gears, getting those camera angles, swap back and forth, making sure the scoreboard's updated. What's going on over here? It's a good time. So we got guards this end. Slightly off-center guard from Team Yoshimura. Stephanie Thompson, Team Stephanie Thompson tries to draw around. Yoshimura will try to work that angle and get a little inside roll. Very well done. A lot of curl on that stone for good, what appears to be really board weight. A lot of action at the end. So we'll watch that as the game goes on. That's crossing the center line. How much those curl might be that's swinging everywhere. It certainly changes the possibilities. Changes what guards mean for sure. When you have that much swing, nothing is ever really fully hidden. More rolls are available. The area where you need to be to make a perfect come around gets a little smaller actually, because your opponent can chase you a little easier with that much curl. Thompson will roll out to the open side. Yoshimura will have a longer way to go to make this roll perfect. Really the goal here for Team Yoshimura, up 2 points in this early going, is to drag play to that 4-foot area. They have their center guard up, and they'll try to, at least, if they can't get perfectly buried, at least dictate play towards that center guard. Team Thompson, of course, there's multiple ways to score deuces and multiple points, but in general, they'll try to keep play away from that center guard as long as they can. They don't have a corner of their own to hide behind, but the dangerous steal and force-to-one situations are more or less going to come from that center guard setup, so they'll try to avoid that. A little soft weight here. Now that they're rolling, they may as well roll buried anyway, which they more or less do. It's high enough in the rings that Team Yoshimura cannot use that as a backing stone. As a stone to get shot rock and have some protection by sitting in front of. Looks like they'll be satisfied to remove this stone. You see that kind of flip of the broom. Might mean, hey, just rip this out of there. I'm sure they'll try to stick around if they can, but this is what gets interesting in the middle of these ends with the center guard is Team Stephanie Thompson, if they miss a shot, I don't know if you can hear my air quotes in the air there, if they miss a shot by taking off the center guard, it's not a big deal. That center guard wasn't helping them anyway. It's still a nice result to get rid of that center guard if you're Team Stephanie Thompson. For Team Yoshimura, however, as they play tight to that guard, which they just successfully did right there, it's a nice shot. As they play tight to that center guard, it's much more of a punishment if they tick or remove that center guard, as that center guard is dictating play to the middle, which is their whole goal, Team Yoshimura, and the goal for really anyone playing without hammer in a more or less tie game scenario. Depends how many points you think the hammer is worth. Probably 1.5 points, maybe. Insight into my weird mental math I think of as I watch curling, but I think everyone's got their own little quirks and what they think is valuable, more or less. Anyways, the chase continues. Teams Yoshimura and Thompson are satisfied right now just chasing the opponent's shot rock. No big moves being made so far. With an end this simple, really the only move you could make that would be out of ordinary would be to ignore the opponent's stone and draw behind that 4-foot centerline guard. Both teams seeing no need to push play in that type of way yet. This being the second end, the kind of postmodern wisdom is you want to score in the even ends. This is to maintain the kind of hammer balance. In theory, if you score, then your opponent scores. And you score, then your opponent scores. Back and forth like that. You want the ends where you're scoring to coincide with the 8th and final end. So, if you unpack that, that brings you back to the 6th end, 4th end, and we're in right now the 2nd end. So, team with hammer wanting to score in the even ends seems to be the new traditional wisdom. First one I ever heard talk about that was Kevin Martin in the late 2000s. As he was commentating, now I got hats off to Kevin Martin. A lot of people sort of want to keep their secrets. Kevin will detail his entire playing career, all of the tricks and things that he's noticed and ways that he operated that he wasn't telling anyone else at the time. He is very good at letting those secrets out while commentating. So if you listen to a Kevin Martin game that Kevin Martin's commentating, you will learn a thing or two for sure. Sweepers almost get that one by. Just ticks the center guard. It really did not move that center guard much at all. To tick it thinner than that. So, Team Stephanie Thompson doing their job, getting that roll, getting those rocks behind what they have, the center guard. Now that it's getting later in the end, knowing that you need to score 2, that center guard becomes a little more friendly for Team Thompson. Especially now that they've got 1/2 buried, so they'll try to put a little Christmas tree setup going there. Wasn't able to make it work. Just a little heavy and outside there. Oh, Sayaka Yoshimura. The open crack at that Team Thompson stone. Edge to edge, as we would say, maybe a quarter buried. Give you guys a little closer view here. team's just going soft weight all end here. Really just keeping their weight down, making sure that they can manage the stone with sweeping, making sure that that stone is not rolling out of the rings. Throwing very soft weight, just hack, heavy hack all end here. Which is good, you learn more about the ice that way. And for the reasons I mentioned before, you can control the stone a little better. Why not? Stephanie will have a chance to roll behind this guard. This is a roll they've been going for all end, and they've gotten quite a nice result a few times. Let's see if they can get one more here. As you can see, lots of positivity on that release, knowing that this centerline spot is really jumping. Looks like a little more weight than before. Oh, really nice. Only gets a half buried, but that's a well-managed hit and roll on such swingy ice. Really upped her weight a little bit from what they've been throwing. I think just trying to keep it true. Didn't want to have that stone jump on them. It's a pretty nice result there. Of course they would like that to be fully buried, but there's reason to be happy with that result. Certainly no roll inside anymore for Sayaka Yoshimura. Even if Sayaka is able to get this stone, she'll be wide out in the open for a blank attempt. Team Yoshimura could try to chase a perfect result here, throw just barely half weight, try to get the nose, make a much more difficult shot for Stephanie Thompson, but I don't think that would necessarily be worth it. The risk of ticking your center guard and leaving a wide open draw for two just isn't worth the exactly perfect spot that the rock may end up. So yeah, they will accept contact. Quite a long roll, and no, the spin will not drag it back in. That will be the easiest type of blank attempt for Stephanie Thompson. One where she doesn't have to hit anything. They'll take this opportunity to learn a spot in the ice. You can see them purposefully putting the broom in a spot where they want to see what happens there. Don't want to waste any opportunity to learn a little bit more about the ice. Inside out turn to see what happens there. Decent little movement on that as well. So nice work by the Thompson team trying to roll their way behind a guard to set up a deuce, but with that swingy ice, Team Yoshimura always able to chase it. Thompson will settle with a blank. They will have hammer in the third end.
Had some questions about if our houses are painted or are they logo. Our events are always painted houses, but in the future coming out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to all logo houses. They're a great revenue source for any curling club. You can get your advertisements on there, and usually after the first year, the houses are paid for. It's all free money for you. So hopefully check Jet Ice out for your future in-house logos.
Vernon Dodge Jeep is the home of the no-charge 60-day unlimited mileage buyer protection plan. Take home any late model pre-owned vehicle from the...
We're for agriculture. For growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
third end action here. Stephanie Thompson, Sayaka Yoshimura. Yoshimura getting her open deuce in the first end. Team Stephanie Thompson tried to play to the open side and then eventually use the center guard of Yoshimura's. Stephanie Thompson team dictating play for that second end. They did have a chance to set up a overlap situation, kind of Christmas tree scenario as I've heard it called, to get their deuce. Third rock thrower did chuck it a little wide. Yoshimura was able to get the shot stone, and we had a blank in the second end. Very similar situation in the third end here to how the second end started. Slightly off center guard, a little deeper this time. 3-zone guard from Team Yoshimura. Team Stephanie Thompson attempts to draw around, leaves the face slightly open, and we will once again have a hit and roll battle. Stage is set. Unless Team Stephanie Thompson plans on using their last free guard zone guard, I think we'll have yet another hit and roll battle behind an off center guard. Oh, forgot to change my camera for you folks. Sorry about that. So this very swingy center line area, from right to left, is what the teams will be playing with once again. Here. Be that nice overhead view. Weight that time. Of course, the harder you throw it, the straighter the rock stays. Just didn't have enough of a chance to grab that curl. Couldn't quite get behind the center guard, but hey, maybe they were trying to stick or roll off a little bit. Stone's high enough in the rings that it's not going to serve as backing or something to freeze to, not yet anyway. But every hit and roll, the more you roll, the kind of deeper into the rings the rock gets. This one will be quite deep. Really good work by the sweepers to save that one. That had barely enough weight to get the rock out of the rings, and the sweepers were able to hold that on a pretty straight line. So Anna Onodera. Forgetting what rock she throws, but she sweeps 2 rocks, and she's like one of the best overall curlers, sweeping, kind of mind for the back end, throwing. One of the best overall curlers in the world. Recently saw news that she will be featured in the curling calendar, the charity, I'm forgetting the exact name of it, but charity curling calendar, so that will be fun. I was confusing her with teammate Kao Onodera. Anna Omiya. That's what I was thinking of. Not to take anything away from the rest of this Yoshimura team, who's enjoyed some success over the last few years. I watched them in North Bay, Ontario, Slam there a few years ago. Really impressed me with their consistency, fearlessness in their strategy, going toe-to-toe with some of the top teams in the world that really didn't have much experience playing at the time. Really opened the world's eyes to the potential that this Yoshimura team has to be the best in Japan and therefore best in the world, because there are undeniable, just top-tier, best in the world potential teams coming out of Japan right now, especially on the women's side. Trying to hold this hit. They will make enough contact to remove the stone. However, with that trade, with that roll to the side, exchange of hits between Yoshimura and Thompson, and then that roll out by Team Stephanie Thompson, Team Yoshimura will finally, after 2 ends, get a crack at using their center guard by placing a rock exactly where they want behind the center guard that they threw. Sometimes it does take that long, but that's curling. I mean, you jockey for positioning back and forth, and then one half make opens the door for your opponent to engage their strategy. They will engage this centerline guard strategy, try to place on top 4 as a force or steel stone. A lot of room to curl here. But as we've seen, these get a lot of action as they approach the center line. This one, no exception. Try to finish this. Yeah, about half buried, looks like. Right on the lid. Stephanie in the house indicating she'd like to roll off to the wing. We are deep enough into the rings now that a hit and stick could be not so good of a thing. Yoshimura would probably freeze to the Stephanie Thompson stone, thus really shrinking the scoring area, making it difficult to manufacture deuce, or if one or two things go wrong, maybe give up a steal that way as well. They've managed the line really well on this one. Get a little flop out. I think that's pretty good. Nice team shot. Looked like a lot of communication there between Stephanie and sweepers and thrower. That's exactly what you want to see. Lots of talk on a hit and roll shot like that. Or here. I guess you hear talking, don't you? Interested to see them take this turn, this inside-out turn. A lot of curl there, and wow, managed perfectly. Guess they knew what they were doing. Taking the inside-out path there, kind of flirting with their own center guard is the reason I would be afraid of throwing that shot with that weight, with that turn, but hey, they saw an opportunity to make the roll the exact way they wanted to, and pulled it off perfectly. Much like the previous end, Team Stephanie Thompson recognizing their only path to 2 points is behind this center guard. They tried to bring play out to the wing and were quite successful in doing so, but just one roll out early in the end allowed Yoshimura to drag play to this centerline stone. And once again, just like last end, just a little heavy and or outside. On third, Cassidy Regush. I am terrible with last names. I'm sorry, Cassidy. That's not even a tough one. Didn't miss by much, but with this amount of curl and with the difficulty of the shot that was asked of her, it's enough to blow by that stone in the forefoot. Team Yoshimura will have a serious chance here at solidifying their center line setup, and this is going from force likelihood, that scales are tipping towards steal likelihood. With that good center guard, that nearly perfect shot on the side of the button, if they're able to tuck another one in there, either frozen to their own right on the button or top 12, top 8, it's going to be pretty difficult for Stephanie Thompson to score. Sayaka Yoshimura's first stone without hammer, leading by 2 points here in the third end. Real opportunity to increase the pressure here. Once again, Sayaka really involved in her shot, chasing it the whole way down. I bet she would try to sweep it if the sweepers let her. She certainly did in the previous end when she was trying for 2 points. Or in the first end, she jumped right in and started sweeping that rock with her girls. Love to see that focus and concentration, intensity. Using her whole willpower, mental focus, and everything to guide that stone where she wanted it. Speaking of where she wanted it, probably wanted just a little more curl. Now Stephanie Thompson can see the entire face of that front stone, so she could roll in if she wanted to. She can make this double, which is what I think they have lined up here. Very eerie, the similarities between this third and second end. And first as well, Stephanie Thompson had a double opportunity in the first end. Did not miss by much. Let's see what she can make of this one. Sweepers are right off of that. Ooh, it did come up a little bit. Stuffed it, as I've heard said. Stuffed the double, didn't quite come up enough. Geez, you gotta wonder if they could have managed that just a little bit differently and maybe got the double across the top. They had already engaged that outside sweeper, that curl sweeper. It's pretty tough to change your mind that quickly, but either way, double is stuffed. Yoshimura rock remains in the forefoot, and Sayaka will have a similar shot to her first one. Leading by 2 in the third odd end. Team Yoshimura is pretty satisfied with Stephanie Thompson scoring a single point here. That would, of course, give them the hammer back. Team Yoshimura the hammer back in the fourth end, the fourth even end. But a steal also greatly increases their chances of winning the game. You would think they would slightly prefer a steal to go up 3 points. But either scenario, one of those two things is going to happen. Thompson's getting 1, or Yoshimura is getting 1 or 2. All results favor Yoshimura at this point in the end. Leaving it high, that may be a situation where they've recognized that the line wasn't right and the weight was a little light, so they may as well leave it to kind of the stone to sort of stop moving, stop curling, stop advancing, leave it more in the draw path. You got to think the goal there was to count 2 in the rings, but recognizing that the shot was not exactly where they wanted it to be, they elect to just leave it, get in the way of this pretty tough draw to the pin. You'll need at least an inch of the button to score 1 here. It's certainly curling enough to make that happen, but you know, this pushes Stephanie Thompson's draw path quite close to that center line guard. Yoshimura just threw. This will be a challenging shot and a really big one. Trying to avoid a 3-point deficit here. Stephanie Thompson, final rock, third end. Likes it. Those ones are tough. Sweepers knew it was close, but there was nothing they can do. Stephanie made a pretty good throw right at the broom, and it just ends up coming a little bit heavy. Tough one there for Team Stephanie Thompson, giving up another steal. A well-played game by both teams so far. We'll see what the fourth end brings us. Stephanie Thompson with hammer. Come back.
I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
You know, what job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
just got our shipment of logos here in for our next event, which is going to be the mixed doubles. As you can see, there's a few of them. There's roughly 20 logos per sheet to be put in for the mixed doubles, along with a couple extra little dots. But all our logos come from Jet Ice. They are the best logos to put in. We use them around the world, and they're very easy to install. As you can tell, this is the center ice logo that's going to be going in for the world. This is about a 4-footer by 10. It's going to look like $1 million. Their colors on their logos are always nice and vibrant. And like I said before, very easy to put in.
Getting back curling here in Swift Current. Team Sayaka Yoshimura versus Team Stephanie Thompson. I believe they play out of Regina. That's where I know Stephanie from, is Regina. Steph and Cassidy, we got to get your headshots on curling zone here. You guys are a real team now. And really playing like it. Team Yoshimura, one of the best in the world. And Stephanie Thompson team really going toe-to-toe here. There's only been a few missed shots this game so far. Very well played, well managed stones. Lots of soft weight hits. Keeping that rock in the rings, letting your sweepers manage it on what appears to be quite swingy ice, especially with these hits. Soft weights hits, curling a lot. Stephanie Thompson throwing their first corner guard of the game. Fourth end here. Oh, better fix my scoreboard. Real nice stone there from the Kelly K. That one was quite far out on the sheet, and it still came all the way back. So we are dealing with swing all over the sheet, which is a good thing. It makes a lot of shots possible. It makes situations... it's harder to completely solidify a scenario when the rocks are swinging that much because so many more shots are possible. There's always an opportunity to make something happen. Team Yoshimura chasing this yellow stone. Little tap freeze might have been just a hair heavy. Team Thompson there. Going to offer a lot of backing for their stone. Big sweep to make this curl. They do just get that Thompson stone by their own in the forefoot there. Wouldn't want to move that stone in the forefoot if you're Team Yoshimura. Second rock thrower Sarah Hogue. Very experienced player at such a young age. Really involved curler. The whole time I've known Sarah, very involved in curling. Caledonian Curling Club in Regina, and the Highland Curling Club as well. I've ran into these ladies on Team Thompson. Tough in your young 20s, especially if you're going to university and trying to start your career, manage your home, your life, your finances, and curl competitively all at once. It's a big ask. So a lot of times people have to take a year off or choose to take some time to not be as involved in the sport. But it looks like the Stephanie Thompson team, they're really gearing up for a heavy-duty competitive season this year. I've seen their Facebook posts and they're trying to follow them on there. It seems like this year they're really able to commit to the game, and so it'll be fun to see what they're able to achieve this year with that type of commitment. The curling landscape in Saskatchewan is getting slightly younger. There's more young teams coming up, or players, kind of energizing the scene with a lot of commitment. Yeah, it should be an intense season, both on the men's and women's side. Especially on the women's side, it'll be interesting to see who's going to step up and become part of those elite names in the Saskatchewan curling scene. Hey, if you're playing this good against Sayaka Yoshimura, I think Team Stephanie Thompson has a lot of reason to be optimistic for the season to come. So we've got a rock in the back of the house here behind the tee line. We've got a corner guard, we've got a center guard. The stage is set here for this fourth end to be the most action-packed end of the game. Team Stephanie Thompson having not scored yet, giving up a deuce and then a steal in the third end. They'll be looking to make a move here. They'll want to make up some ground here. They can't survive down 3 for too much longer. They will have to make an attempt to cut into that lead pretty significantly. This being the fourth end, which I will of course update on the scoreboard. And let's get you, my audience, a little better view of the rings here. Center guard about halfway down. Corner guard, equal distance, halfway into the guard zone. Team Thompson will have some work to do to use that center there at the corner guard of theirs. They'll have to remove this stone for sure in the forefoot, or at least tap it back a bit. Corner guard is not out of play, or it's not something that they're gonna abandon yet, but we'll definitely have to make something happen in order to use that corner guard they have on the left side there. Stephanie indicating backline weight. Looks like ice to remove the stone though, so I might be wrong. Third, Cassidy Regouche. Just trying to get some more curl there. Ticks off. They do get a little lucky, gliding with the back stone there to keep their rock in the rings. Just another little bit heavy, a little bit outside, a killer combination. Excuse me. And Omaya running down the ice with a big smile on her face the whole time. It's just the attitude of these Japanese teams is just, in my experience so far, it's just so positive. And really this focus on communication. You can see Anna giving information, detailed information, hand signals to her skip about this rock coming down the ice. Just the teamwork aspect of some of these Japanese teams is just really a good example of what can be achieved by 4 people just focusing on support and achievement. Great lesson in teamwork from a lot of these Japanese teams. High fives all around. Woohoo! Gotta love it. Well, Stephanie deciding enough's enough. This center guard's gotta go. It's causing too many problems, and that roll by Team Yoshimura there, it's just too good of a spot. Too good of a setup. They'll have to try to bash something back here. One and... well, that was very unlucky. Very well thrown rock. Just couldn't quite decide which side they were going to get that one on, and ended up blowing right by. Am I seeing Nicole out there? Is that Kelly? No, okay, that's Kelly. Thought I saw Stephanie's sister, Nicole Thompson. There we go. Give myself a better view so I'm not confusing players here. Well, it's Sayaka Yoshimura. Similar situation. She's got a rock in the forefoot. She's got some protection on the in-turn side. Now she'll want to solidify this out-turn side. This appears to be ice for a guard, although she could be coming in to the top 8 foot, creating a stagger. It's also a tap opportunity, but that would, of course, leave a double. Not exactly sure. I cannot hear the skips. That'll be our next piece of technology if we're able to figure that out on a consistent basis. Putting player mics out there and making sure they're charged, making sure the players are wearing them correctly, making sure the receivers are functioning properly, making sure the mics get returned at the end of the game. Muting the mics as players go to the washroom. These are all pretty intense logistical difficulties for putting player mics on the skips. So we are thinking about that over here at Curling Stadium, but just trying to figure out how we'd be able to do that effectively. Pretty good spot. You got to think that came a little deeper than they would want for a pure card. At that weight, you would think that you'd almost just sweep it in the rings. A few more, but the door is open for Stephanie Thompson. They are looking at this intern side, ignoring everything. Stephanie seeing that scoreboard, knowing that now's the time. Gotta score 2 somehow here, so even though there is a nose double to remove those reds, it's too late in the end. Stephanie's got to count her 2 stones here. First one and the second one. So removal of red stones is not really a priority. Of course, you want to score and keep the game alive, but 2 points down without hammer is a pretty tough analytical situation to deal with. Stephanie is seeing a draw path. Turn draw path along the center line here where we've seen so much movement. You can actually see Sayaka reasoning with this situation herself, understanding that there's 2 ways to get into the 4 foot here. Just kind of Sayaka, you can see planning. She knows her shot's coming next. She'll have to chase this stone however it gets there. But Team Thompson, easily the biggest shot of the game so far right here. Give themselves a crack at getting 2 points. They don't need shot stone here. It would be very nice, but if they're able to put this in the 8 foot or 4 foot for second shot, at least they'll have something on their last one. This stone, though, does need to be in the rings. At least second shot stone. Stephanie Thompson's first, 4th end. Sweepers are on it right away. A little bit of a slow handle on this one. Really curling here. May have been just a little light. Yes, it appears it was. Just a little light, started curling quickly. A little tick off there, and that's gonna close up that out turn side. Unfortunately, missed opportunity there. Team Yoshimura. Team Yoshimura just reasoning which way Stephanie Thompson will have to get the rings. A nice team discussion there. You can see everyone getting on the same page. All 4 players. A quick meeting in the house. And then the sweepers and rock thrower down to the end. Throwing end to make it happen. Make their discussion come to life. My thinking is, why not come right into the rings here? You could throw another guard, but you may as well just put the pressure on. Just go for the, really what you could consider a game-winning scenario here. If she's able to, okay, you can see the broom going. Just in the 3-guard zone. I guess the opportunity here would be to take away run backs by being right there. Geez, they're going to have to make this curl. Don't quite get the curl. They will plug the hole that they needed to plug in order to take away the easy path to the forefoot. So, you know, that's a successful shot. Not exactly what they were hoping for, but it does the trick. Now Stephanie's going to be looking at an ugly out-turn draw. Kind of getting a bit into the weeds here. This will probably be the widest rock thrown on this path yet. Certainly the widest draw. Maybe there was a hit or two that came down here. So thrower and sweepers are, it's just so much extra information to consider. You know, the fresher pebble, the frostier spots. I mean, frost isn't really an issue at nice clubs like this, but just a little bit slower perhaps, or it's not, and you made all those adjustments for nothing. You end up throwing heavy. So that's in your mind as well as you throw these wide draws, knowing that you haven't exactly seen what's out here. You can guess, and that guess can be pretty good, but you just don't know. So as a thrower, it's just about giving weight to all of these things you've noticed. That, you know, have I noticed that rocks have slowed down when I get them wide? Have I noticed that they curl more? You know, you're considering all these things. Curling is just such a learning, a memory sport. You gotta remember all this little stuff. It's your tools to make shots. Stroke here, trying to keep the game alive. Stephanie Thompson. Sweepers, Kelly Kay, Sarah Hogue. Hook is off, and that is indeed out there pretty wide. Even wider than the brim right now. Already catching some curl. Definitely more weight than her previous draw. Really looks like it's put her on the brakes here. Sweepers are going hard. Tough one. You can see Stephanie did adjust. That was a much harder throw, more rotation. Sweepers were on it earlier, but just like I had talked about there, that outside path tricked them a little bit. She'll come up short. She'll steal a 1. It's 4-0 for Sayaka Yoshimura. Going into the 5th end when we come back.
Just got our shipment of logos here in for our next event, which is going to be the mixed double. As you can see, there's a few of them. There's roughly 20 logos per sheet to be put in for the mixed doubles, along with a couple extra little dots. But all our logos come from Jet Ice. They are the best logos to put in. We use them around the world, and they're very easy to install. As you can tell, this is the center ice logo that's going to be going in for the world. This is about a 4-footer by 10. It's going to look like $1 million. Their colors on their logos are always nice and vibrant. And like I said before, very easy to put in.
Welcome back. 5th end action. Jeez, I gotta update that scoreboard. So many things to consider. What ad to run next. Straightening my cameras, all that stuff. But we have curling. We've got curling, we've got sheet audio, and you've got me, Rory McCusker, here watching and switching cameras with you. So what has been actually a pretty entertaining game. 4-0. For those just tuning in, you might You might have some ideas about how things got there. No, it's been a pretty back and forth, kind of tit for tat first 3 ends anyway. That 4th end did kind of get away from Team Stephanie Thompson, with Yoshimura just dragging play into that center line, keeping rocks around the center line guards, top 8, top 4 for position. Team Stephanie Thompson did what they could, but just a few misses from Thompson and nearly a perfect end from Team Yoshimura. Gives us this result, 4-0 in the 5th end. 2 steals in a row there from Yoshimura, just continually putting pressure on the back end of Team Thompson to make the tough shots. Looks like we're frozen here. And we zap back to it. Okay, thought we might have to restart there. But no. Tell me if this looks familiar, viewers of the game. An off-center guard and a rock in the top 4 foot. That has been the story in this one. So we got a high corner guard from Team Thompson here. They will eventually try to use that. This looks like nice soft weight though. They might be trying to hide behind the center guard. Look how hard that is curling. My goodness. Really soft weight there. Helps out, but you know what? That's going to be a fine result. I'm not sure what the call was. It could have been that. That is something to be pretty satisfied with. Top 8. Yoshimura cannot freeze to it, and they're even considering whapping back their own center guard. My goodness. That is a scoreboard call right there. You do not see a team without hammer risking eliminating their own center guard very often. But Sayaka Yoshimura is in heat-seeking Yellow Rocks hit mode. She wants any and all yellow rocks gone. Look at this throw. Just blows it by, but what a nice slide. Kaho Onodera. She came out of that hack like a freight train, just lining up shoulder, hip, knee, leg, eye, hand, everything just going straight forward. It is a dangerous slide. She's going to make a lot of run backs sliding like that. But advantage Thompson. For the first time in quite a few ends, advantage Thompson. So they will take their opportunity here to sink one behind a corner guard for the first time this game. Team Yoshimura waited till the 3rd end to get their first open look at using a guard. That's how back and forth this game has been. Jeez, that stone really died on them. Sweepers did not seem too concerned with it. We're not quite able to get that one in the rings, and that's going to sting, because that would have been an overlapped guard scenario. Overlap guard scenario with a rock at the top of the house. There was no run back opportunity there from Yoshimura. That might have been the stone that would convince Sayaka Yoshimura to stop hitting and maybe play into the draw game, which is exactly what Stephanie Thompson would be trying to tempt Team Yoshimura into. Geez, that took me a long time to explain, didn't it? 10:01 a.m. here in Saskatchewan, the land of no daylight savings. We don't have to switch our clocks at any time of year. Unconcerned with that. So mountain time is what the rest of the world might call it. 2 a.m. None of that daylight savings hocus pocus over here. Team Thompson trying to make good on that draw around. It did just get more difficult. That rock that Sarah Hogue left at the edge of the house just makes it more and more difficult to get that perfect buried shot. That's about as good as she could have done there, I would think. They were only by their own guard by 2 inches or so. I don't know if there was a shot to get that rock perfectly buried. So Yoshimura was always going to have a crack at this one. And they will take it. Overall, a pretty favorable setup for Team Thompson right now. Lots of mess on the corner guard side there. impossible for Yoshimura to clean that all up, so they will have to chase Team Thompson around these corner guards probably for the rest of the end. It's a really expertly managed stone here. Line, weight, sweep, call, everything. Team Yoshimura really looks in the zone. This is a dangerous looking team right now. In this B-side event, both teams already with a loss. But that's okay. All you need to do is qualify for playoffs. And then none of that matters. So really, Team Yoshimura getting it together here on Saturday morning. Little high five there. You see what I'm talking about? Just that spirit, that cheer that they have. It's contagious. Couldn't quite get the roll there. See Regina trying to bounce back from some misses earlier in the game. Some pretty tough shots being called upon for Cassidy. She's had some tougher taps and freezes and rolls and such. Got kind of unlucky with one, threw a couple heavy and outside, bad combination, kind of makes the miss look worse than it really was. But she'll have another opportunity here. Team Yoshimura will chase this stone, and just the way they're playing, you gotta expect it's gonna be gone. Big chunk there from, is that Kobayashi? It's Onodera and Omeya sweeping. She throwing two rocks? I'm a little confused. I think so. I think we have Kaho Onodera throwing lead, and Omaya throwing second. Here. Good look and draw around the guard here. Are they going to save it? Just by. Just a touch heavy. Cassidy Rigish just struggling to find the exact weight here in this early Saturday morning. Not missing by much, but you know what? Against a team this good in Sayaka Yoshimura, not good enough. Anything less than perfect is going to be not good enough against this team. This really powerful women's team from Japan. Onodera doing the lead thing. You know, if I get closer to the rings, it counts as helping. But as a lead, you know, I've played lead for a few years now here. You sometimes just don't want to get involved. There's already 3 voices in the house. You don't know if yours is really going to help that much. So you're physically in body there in the meeting, but you're not saying much. The lead, it's the lead's balance. Supportive, but not very talkative. Tough role for me to fit in, as many of you might guess. Yoshimura's first. A little bit different this end. In the previous 3 ends she's had, previous 4 ends, she's had a center line set up to protect. She's had center guards, she's had rocks in the top 4. Not this time. This time, she's going to have to attempt to cut off the path to this corner guard draw that Team Stephanie Thompson's been trying to make all end. And all it takes is one. Once Stephanie Thompson gets a rock behind those corner guards, you know, that's enough to score 2 points. Angle's not looking favorable to remove the 2 Yoshimura stones in the rings to then count that Cassidy Ragouche stone in the back of the house. That one's looking pretty lost. Sayaka over-curling just a little bit there. As you can see from this angle, this straightaway angle, there is an out-turn draw with, backing in the back four there. The door is open for Stephanie Thompson to get 2 points here, at least. Team likely just deciding exactly where is the best spot to put this rock. They know it's in the 4 foot somewhere. They know it's behind that guard somewhere. It's important, especially at this level, to really determine exactly where the best spot is, exactly where you're aiming for. In curling, you can get caught saying, over here somewhere should be fine. You throw the rock, you sweep it, everyone looks at each other, okay, good shot, yep, that's nice. Then the other team takes the ice, and you realize, oh crap, I left this shot, or I left that shot, or if only we left it 3 inches higher here, or we didn't see this, we didn't know this. Those mistakes really stick with you. They're tough lessons to learn, and any curler can tell you a time where they high-fived their sweepers and went to the back and said, hey, nice shot, that'll work perfect, and then the other team makes you realize, nope, that was not the perfect spot to put that rock, and really you should have taken your time and figured out exactly where you want to put it. But looks like Stephanie Thompson has done exactly that. Overhead view of the rings here, trying to skinny their way between the top guard and that top 8 foot stone. Draw through the port, kind of reminiscent of Stephanie Thompson's first rock, 4th end, where she threw just a little bit slow handle, a little bit light on the weight, and the overcurl crashed the guard. Let's see if she can make good on this one here. Very straight release, not super positive, so this one will definitely get some curl at the end. Yeah, that's going already. A little bit slow handle again. And yeah, that 7 stone is going to crash that center guard. They will spin it into the edge of the rings, but barring some really crazy shot on her last one, that's unlikely to be relevant. As it stands right now, doubling off those red stones. It does jam, as we would say. Oh, wrong house. Jam into the back yellow. Maybe they all go. Maybe that is a shot for 1 or 2. Team Yoshimura considering moving their rock in the top bait. Kind of chasing perfection there, I would think. I would be comfortable leaving that kind of weird double. Especially when you can eliminate its significance by putting just another rock in the 8 foot here. Lying 3 should do the trick for Sayaka Yoshimura. It'd be pretty tough to leave any type of triple. Especially with this out turn that they've been throwing all end. This is a path that should be pretty obvious to both teams by now. What rocks are doing down this draw path. We've seen basically the entire end played down this area. So, a lot of previous information to reference for sweepers and throwers alike to make this shot perfect. Sayaka following that rock down. I love that. I love that intense face she makes as she follows her rock down the ice. Oh, wrong house again. Sorry, team. And she will plug the hole. She will plug the hole and leave this kind of double. Of course, you can make it across the face, as some would say, backwards, as some would say. Of course, the natural way to make this double would be to collide with the right side, as far as we're looking at it from the straight-on view. I'm actually going to avoid right and left altogether. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. 2 options here. You can make the double the normal way, accept that it's going to jam, and hope that all stones just roll out of the rings and you end up counting your shooter and that biter on the top of the 12 foot. The other way to make this double would be across the face, the slash kind of side, where your shooter rolls out and you count the two kind of orbiting 12-foot stones. Both shots are there. It's pretty weird. It's probably like an 8-foot double there, so it's going to be a tough one. But Team Stephanie Thompson has a shot for multiple points for the first time this game. Let's see if they can make good on it. Oof, house again. One just did not seem to have the release, the weight, the power that they were looking for. Dead out of her hands. Over curls. Team Stephanie Thompson, quite a hill to climb. We'll have to try and set up a big multiple score end here in the 6th when we come back. Sorry folks, hitting the wrong commercials there. Getting a little look of Vernon, BC. Beautiful British Columbia. Us in Saskatchewan don't like to think too much about how beautiful the weather stays in the fall season out there in BC, so I apologize for reminding everyone that apologize to our prairie audience for reminding everyone that there are nice places to be in the fall. It's better to live in ignorance on that one. Anyways, 6th end curling action. One of these days, I will remember. Switch the end. Before the end begins. 6th end here. 5-0 Yoshimura. Really, not that dominant of a game. Team Stephanie Thompson has not been playing that bad. Team Yoshimura has been playing incredible. For sure. Just a few misses here and there, and just throughout the course of the end, just getting those tiny bit better results. The sum of those advantages has resulted in a lot of pressure being put on the third and skip of Team Stephanie Thompson to make something happen, especially the score has been ramping up. Especially as the score has been ramping up, just harder and harder shots for Cassie Ragush and Stephanie Thompson at the hands of Sayaka Yoshimura, Mina Kobayashi. Of course, the front end, Kaho Onodera and Anna Omaya, jockeying for position against Kelly Kay and Sarah Hogue of Team Thompson. Just little wrong side of the inch misses here and there through the center of the lineups has resulted in Skip Sayaka Yoshimura getting into the hack and looking at a favorable situation in every end so far. And of course, the opposite for Stephanie Thompson, looking at a very tough scenario every end. This Yoshimura team really, becoming a fearsome name on that draw chart. It's been a few years now where they've been active on the competitive scene and just really giving some dimension to that Japanese curling program, that community. I mean, the old way of thinking of international teams in Canada, let's be honest, for a long time there was very few scary teams outside of this country. Well, those days are long gone. With countries like Switzerland, Japan, and even the United States gaining some dimension in their top-end teams, where there really isn't just that one golden team that, you know, it could be assumed that all the money or all the support is going to. No, especially a country like Japan, we have some depth for sure. And, you know, all Japanese quarterfinals, semifinal, even finals of events like this are not going to be rare. That is, they are going to be common occurrences, and we've already seen it happen, and we will continue to see that happen. At the top end, really, you know, adding some depth. We've seen Switzerland already go through that process to the point where they're a very well established, you know, multi-top end team country. Nice little bit of wiki-ticky luck. Sarah Hogue will find a way to get that yellow rock in a place that was probably not even possible without that dick. They're going to need it with another messy centerline setup. Jeez, what a powerful take-out slide. I am jealous. And we screwed up the lineup again for Team Yoshimura. I'm not even going to attempt to correct myself. That was Kaho Onodera throwing second stones. Sarah Hogue try to wrap one around their, what you could call a corner guard. It's about on the 4-foot line. Lots of guards to use, some rocks to freeze against. This is, you know, a satisfying little playground to try and make multiple points here for Team Stephanie Thompson. You've got guards, things to freeze through, and you've got multiple open paths to draw your rocks in there. So already a situation that's going to be too hard to peel her way out of for Sayaka Yoshimura. But up 5 points, that is for sure the right call, is to just continue to remove yellow stones, no matter where they may be. Straight peel here was indicated. Indicating it's fine if you just peel. Ooh, stuffs the run back. Tough luck there. Left it the whole way. Really just needed that to either curl or float out an inch. Either way, peeled that rock off. But now Team Stephanie Thompson lies one behind cover. Let's see what they can do with it. Looks like they're going to try this out turn, kind of further outside. Reminds us of Stephanie Thompson's draw in the 4th end that I thought she threw pretty well, but it really slammed on the brakes. Let's see if the team can remember that shot and adjust from the information they learned from it. Lots of rotation, which is a good way of making sure that your stone is not going to kind of catch on fresh ice. And they've got a little bit of backing back of the rings there in case they are heavy, which it does look like they are, so they'll use that little tap. I think that's shot 2. Stephanie Thompson with the best setup she's had so far this game, to the point where Sayaka Yoshimura is abandoning the takeout strategy and will now be forced to play ball, as they would say. On this one right away. Just trying to manage it through that kind of mystery patch, that's the questionable path. I mean, this is the 3rd rock we've seen down that path now, so any sort of fresh ice or obstacle that I've been talking about like that is pretty eliminated at this point, as long as you follow the same line. That spot is going to slide and curl much like any other spot on the ice at this point. It's just those first few rocks that you're worried about some adjustment there. Anyways, surprise, surprise, perfectly made shot. That will more or less eliminate the possibility of that yellow stone in the back of the rings counting. You would need 2 movements. One to unlock them and another one to remove the red stone in order to count that rock. Stephanie Thompson likely just does not have that many rocks left to waste on just that scenario. Might be better off just finding the 4-foot and solidifying their 2-point setup there. Of course, in the 6th end, down 5, Stephanie Thompson's looking for more than 2 points. She's looking for as many as she can possibly muster. So, that is why Cassidy will skate down and talk this one over with Stephanie Thompson. Wonder if Stephanie's coach, her father, Jim, is at the rink. Jim Thompson, another just longtime face I've known and seen around curling rinks in Regina. Ton of ice. They may be intending on, like I described, making the first of those 2 shots needed in order to try and count that stone at the back there. I mean, there might be a magic spot where they can get to the nose of this red, move it with enough weight that the currently 2nd shot, Yoshimura stone, will roll out to the side, and at the end of the shot, Team Thompson may be counting 3. Quite a shot. Let's see if they can pull it off. Outside sweeper engaging, trying to get it to curl. Just by the top one. Clap, clap. Okay. Very well managed. An aggressive sweep call, but hey, down 5. What other option do you have? That one's got to feel good for Cassidy Regush, who's had a few misses this game. Really close ones. Not bad misses at all, but just been on the wrong side of the inch. That's got to feel good to make that one perfectly. Now, if this is a tie game, this would be a pretty scary situation for Team Yoshimura, but see the scoreboard, they know that they can give up 2 points. You know, even a 3 isn't the end of the world. Just trying to avoid a massive end here. They'll try to avoid making any shots for Team Thompson. Same ice as before. They'll try to follow this rock down. Both teams really getting to know this this wide outturn path that was once mysterious, is now fairly well known by both teams, having thrown quite a few rocks down this path now. Should be able to manage it quite well. Sweepers are on it the whole way. Little tick, little roll. I think Team Stephanie Thompson looks like they're shot 1 for sure at the back of the rings there. They're just trying to figure out. I think they're indicating that the Yoshimura stone, with an excellent sweeping effort, whole way down. Anna Omaya, Kaho Omadera, really, really holding the line and weight there to get something out of nothing. That stone, if it ticks off that guard and rolls off, it's a very bad thing, especially if it stays in the draw path there. It's eliminated that outturn draw path while Stephanie Thompson has the advantage down that path. Instead, they get a very small tick and are able to roll the shooter in for a 2nd shot to the point where Stephanie must address this thing. must address this thing. There is a very open roll inside available. Stephanie Thompson's able to make this hit roll. Sayaka Yoshimura will be looking at 3 Thompson stones, 2 of which will be unremovable, 1 of which will be very difficult to remove. Skip Sayaka Yoshimura may be forced to a draw or a freeze shot on her last one, which is not what she would have planned for this end, up 5. Up 5, you'd be hoping for an open hit to either limit the damage or force the team to 1. Instead, Stephanie Thompson makes this roll. Skip Sayaka Yoshimura will be looking at giving up a possible 4. Unfortunately, this is way out there. Really positive on that release. They'll try to get some curl out of this, but unfortunately, that's going to make things worse. Not better. Whether it was a outside slide or a little push at the end of the throw, maybe just a little too positive of a release, as people like to say. No matter the case, Stephanie Thompson gets that one considerably outside. The sweepers were unable to save it. Unfortunately, bumps the Yoshimura stone to a shot rock position. It will make Sayaka Yoshimura's decision still quite important here. Let's say Yoshimura just misses this shot completely. There's an open, more or less open hit for 3. A little more challenging than an open hit. I shouldn't be so quick to say that, but definitely a very makeable hit for 3. So Sayaka will have to do something about it. She'll have to protect that hit, or come in to the rings and lie 2 instead of 1, forcing Team Thompson to make a double for their points. This appears to be ice for a guard, and with really only Yoshimura stones up front to promote, Stephanie Thompson's going to have a tough time finding a run back that's going to, get her the points she needs here. More or less need 2 points to keep the game going here. Sayaka Yoshimura following her stone down as she does, really intently watching the curl, the line, the weight. Just supreme concentration from Skip Sayaka Yoshimura, and that's going to do the trick. There might be an outturn path for a draw there. Maybe if you really wanted to get lucky, you'd play hack weight and try to remove the stone with that outturn draw through the port, or tap through the port, I should say. That's what Sarah Hogue is pointing out right now. Is there an outturn path following Hogue's broom? Yep, that's the shot I'm seeing, Sarah. Not many other options here. A run back, you could run back that way out corner guard of the yellow on the R of air bar there. That would be a very difficult angle to manage. Quite a bit of a distance as well. That'd be a hero shot. I think he got a better chance of making this hack weight through the hole. You're going to be within an inch on either side, maybe even within a centimeter on either side, but down 5-0 in the 6th end. Not a lot of options. I think you got to try to make this. Busy house there. Take your last look as we go full screen. Skip Stephanie Thompson in the hack. Sweepers Kelly Kay and Sarah Hogue. They're gonna have to be lightning quick on this one. These shots through the court, just so dependent on the precise management of line. Both curl, the outside sweeper, and the straight inside sweeper are gonna have to be right ready to act on a moment's notice. Armstrong, 6th. Inside sweeper Sarah Hogue on this one right away. Trying to hold that line, get it by that front guard. Oh, really nice attempt. Just barely caught that center guard, and I think we'll see handshakes here. Unless, of course, Team Thompson can see an opportunity to learn a bit more about the ice, take in this really valuable experience against Sayaka Yoshimura, one of the best teams in the world. Looks like they will concede. Sayaka Yoshimura, very dominant performance. I can't even remember a clear missed shot. Maybe that tick on the last end here, but just what a performance by Team Yoshimura. High fives, hugs. Just that super cheery, positive attitude. They'll keep going. Stephanie Thompson, nothing to be ashamed of. That was a well-played game against a very, very top-tier opponent. That game is going to make them better. Their draw weight and management of soft hit weight, that's as valuable of practice as you can get playing an opponent of that quality. So Team Stephanie Thompson, look for them to bounce back. Later today. Well, thank you for joining me, folks. Enjoy the curling. Feel free to jump around on our YouTube channel. We've got every sheet covered, so you get to watch this men's and women's event take shape. All right, bye-bye for now.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Had some questions about if our houses are painted or are they logo. Our events are always painted houses, but in the future coming out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to all logo houses. They're a great revenue source for any curling club. You can get your advertisements on there, and usually after the first year, the houses are paid for. It's all free money for you. So hopefully check Jet Ice out for your future in-house logo.